Let's strategize together. Let's hear it from an expert. Join the conversation, it's informative and free. You and me, let's talk some strategy. Now here's your host, Morin-van.
Hello, everybody. I am back with another episode of Strategy Talks. Today, we are going to talk about masterminds, a topic we've never discussed right here on Strategy Talks. But before we get into it and introduce you to my guests, I want to say welcome to all of you who might be here with us live. Let us know where you're joining us from. If you're watching the replay, put hashtag replay in the comments. And a special welcome to those of you who listen to Strategy Talks as a podcast. I want to do a quick shout out to our sponsor. It is Social Insider. They are the intuitive dashboard for social media analytics, reporting, and competitors analysis for brands and agencies. If you need data, you need Social Insider. So without much further ado, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine. Her name is Jeanet. Janet, I don't know how do you introduce yourself in English, Janet?
Yeah,
Janet?
In English, it's always Janet.
Okay.
And then I say, well, we pronounce it the French way, Jeanet.
Jeanet. Yeah. So Janet is from the Netherlands, where I am from. If you've been following the show, you know that. You are probably about the 10th Dutch guest I've had on, which is kind of cool. Yeah. We have quite a few and guests that are from the Netherlands, are from Europe, but I've never had anybody come and talk to us about Mastermind. So you are the expert on Mastermind, but let me tell everybody why you are what you call yourself, the Dutch freedom entrepreneur, right? Yes. Janet is straightforward, no-nonsense business coach for self-employed entrepreneurs who make a living out of their knowledge. Experts like authors, speakers, coaches, and consultants. With her unique framework system, she guides you to building a thriving online business whilst having more freedom and feeling aligned. She's a marketer, certified NLP coach, certified money archetype coach, and she started her business in 2005. She's also an author of 8 books. So I'm very impressed with that. And they're right there behind you. So if you're watching this, if you're listening, you can't see it, but Janet's on screen and she's got 8 books behind her. She's an author. That's really great. So let's talk about Mastermind. Janet, what is your definition of a mastermind?
Yeah, so joining a mastermind or functioning in a mastermind group, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Being in a mastermind group gives you the security of doing the right things. And I talk about entrepreneurship. So my focus is on being an entrepreneur. And a lot of my entrepreneurs, like a lot of my I only work in Dutch, so my Dutch speaking clients, a lot of them feel very lonely. So they know what they do. They know the strategies. They master the skills. They've read the books. They did the online trainings. So they're like, I know everything. And still, it doesn't work. Still, I'm not successful, or I'm very successful, but I never have any time left. So I only work. And this is not why I want to be an entrepreneur. And for me, the mastermind is a system in which you are allowed to grow, to experiment, to ask questions, but to also to be sure that you do the right things every week, because we have weekly meetings and we want to know your big goal. We want to know, like, where do you want to work towards to? What's your goal in the next 2 to 5 years? And if we see someone taking the wrong path or procrastinating or not showing up, then we know as a group, because it's not only my obligation, but as a group, we know that we have to step in. And I think that's the biggest difference of joining a program with a business coach. And the business coach is like the all-knowing and the all-guiding, etc. I don't like that system anymore. I really believe in clever people who know a lot and they are an expert in their own field. Why not show your expertise? to the whole group.
So what I'm hearing you say is, instead of having a teacher who either sits in front of a Zoom and tells you what to do, you are offering a place for peers, right? Equals, to be together in a environment on a weekly basis where there is accountability, because
Absolutely.
I hear you say that accountability piece is huge, where you grow together and where you can literally throw spaghetti at a wall and see if it sticks, but they're going to tell you, hey, you're full of you know what, or hey, this is going to be a great idea, and then ask you the next week, how did it go? Right? So you have a sounding board. That's what I'm hearing you say. You have a sounding board for ideas.
Mastermind words, it's called a facilitator. So I facilitate the calls, or my coaches facilitate the calls. So if they know how the system works, the Mastermind, the hot seat system, if they know how it works, they can also have a very productive call when I'm not there.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, that's
good. So you're creating a system where you're not even really needed anymore in the end. No, just kidding.
No. But no, it's true. It's true. And I really believe in, if I give, and maybe you know that from your own life, if people give you the confidence and also the trust, like you can do this, you're well equipped, you have the knowledge, you can do this, we believe in you, that you finally start doing it. Instead of someone saying, well, this strategy, this is not really good, or have you thought about this? And maybe you should fix this first. It doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree. And for those of you who are watching, for those of you who are listening, every once in a while I'll share this, but I am in a mastermind myself, and I had been in a mastermind before, and mine are, both of the ones that I've been in are self-directed, self-gathered. And we meet every 2 weeks, but that permission to fail, that all supporting group of, and mine has been women both times, entrepreneurs, business owners, where we can literally talk about anything that we need in our business, whether we want to look under the hood and see what's working, or we have a crazy idea, or we have a client that is just, making our hair stand up on the back of our neck, or, like the red flags, like, hey, somebody called me, should I work with them? Anything goes. And having somebody to talk to and say, yeah, you're not crazy, or nope, we're all in agreement, that is not something you should be doing, is huge, because it is a lonely place. Entrepreneurship can be super, super lonely. So how did you get started in this, Jeanet? I'm going to assume, without you telling me, that you were in a mastermind and it changed your business and it changed your life.
Yeah, I think I've been in masterminds. So I was this typical knowledge-based entrepreneur, doing workshops and being on stage and like working my butt off, like working very hard and having a real decent income, but no time left. So I've been in that place like 10, 12 years ago. And then I decided to like teach myself first. I was doing it alone. Like I wanted to learn about business models, etc. And then all of a sudden, I mean, it's not all of a sudden, but I think starting in 2015, I discovered this whole mastermind concept with a facilitator. So I had to pay to be part of the mastermind. And the facilitator was, I think most of my groups, I've been in a lot of masterminds, but let's say the first one for sure, it was a woman, it was a female facilitator. And she was also building a business up from zero. And now she's like this 8-figure business owner. And I really admire people for doing that. Like they have nothing. And then 10 years later, they are multi-millionaire. And I love that. I really love that. And that's when I first came across like being in a small group with a very clever facilitator, opening up your mind and teach. It's teaching, it's supporting, but it's also unconscious, showing you that it is possible. Even in the Dutch area. I mean, this is a very
I love that you said open up your mind instead of open up your eyes. And it's probably because English is your second language. However, mindset, let's go there, because you brought it up. It's mindset. It's not just opening your eyes to the possibilities. It's opening your mind to new ideas and new ways to doing the same business, but doing it better, faster, with the help of other people. So let's talk about the mindset. What kind of mindset do you need to have to be in a mastermind? I mean, anybody can be in a mastermind, but for a mastermind, once you make a commitment to be successful.
Oh, that's so important. That's why I always have personal intake calls with my clients. So if you want to join a mastermind, you must be able to receive. That's a thing for women, for a lot of female entrepreneurs, and you must also be able to give. Like there must be this balance of, okay, I'm here to help you, you're here to help me. If we help each other, we will all become millionaires. That's one of my slogans. We are here to lift each other up. Then you must bring some expertise to the table. I think, and especially like in this online entrepreneur field, you must know something. You must be a nice person. For me, that's super important, because the tribe is the reason that people stay in the mastermind. Anyone can join a mastermind, and the first 8 weeks are big fun and everyone is committed, etc. But they stay together for 12 months or more. So if someone is not nice or friendly or open or willing to help you, you get this strange atmosphere in a group, and people back off then. Is that the word? Backing off? Like they withdraw.
They back off, but they really back out. That's the expression.
Yeah.
They back out of their commitment.
Yeah. If there's one person in the group that is not the right fit, that one person gets called out by me privately. Like I talk to them and I talk about their the attitude or the behavior or being always late or whatever. And if it doesn't improve, it's like goodbye. And that's something that's experience. You have to learn that. But
I love though that you bring that up, because people join a cohort, a mastermind, and continuing education piece. They go get a executive MBA, and it's not necessarily the knowledge that you gain from going. It's doing everything, the commitment that you make, right? The time commitment, the money commitment, and then those people that are doing that with you, you have to have that same mindset. So I love that you said you have to be nice. In English, in America, we just say you just can't be an asshole. You just can't. You just have to be nice. So you have to be kind to each other.
Friendly people, and also, I mean, of course, you also have to self-reflect and want to improve yourself, like the growth mindset. We talk about that as well. That makes sense, I think, for a lot of people. Okay, you have to grow as an entrepreneur. But people only grow when they feel safe. So for me, safety is one of the facilitator tasks. Like a good facilitator has a lot of tasks. And group dynamics is something that a lot of people who want to start doing groups, like hosting groups, they are not so experienced in that. And that's where trouble comes. They're like, I gave them everything, or I taught them to do that, and they don't do it. And but you can see the signals. You can see someone, I don't know, rolling their eyes, or you can see things.
Mm-hmm. So how do you deal with conflict in a mastermind? I know this is totally off script again, but how do you deal with conflict in mastermind?
Yeah, talk about it. Just talk about it. And because we had that. Of course, I had that in my groups as well, also in the Zooms, but also pre-pandemic. I had way more live days, and there were conflicts. But talk about it, and the main thing for me is that we respect everyone for who he or she is. Like, I have some what people might call strange clients. Like they are not your typical. What's the word? Gray mouse clients. They stand out.
So you don't have those cookie cutter clients. They all look the same. You have people who are different. The way they look, the way they act, the way, and this is something about Dutch culture. If you're watching this and you're not familiar with the Netherlands, we have an expression. I talked about that when I had Elizabeth on with video marketing. In Dutch, we have this expression, just be normal. That's crazy enough. Like people in the Netherlands don't look kindly on people who are different, look different, even though we're completely tolerant. We're pretty much a tolerant country, but we don't want to necessarily stand out ourselves. We want to emulate everybody else. And it's shifting. I know it's shifting. When I lived there in the 80s, that definitely was, I was told that on almost a daily basis, just be normal, don't be crazy. And I know that having lived in the US for 35 years, it's one of those things that when I speak and when I'm on stage, I take on this different personality. And I think that if I were to do that in the Netherlands, people would look at me like, whoa, who is she? Who does she think she is? Right. And so I totally get what you're saying, that you don't have the typical client, but that makes sense because the typical Dutch person necessarily doesn't want to do entrepreneurship. Correct. A lot of people like the security, especially in the Netherlands, of your job, your career. You follow the, huisje, boompje, beestje, as we would say it, like the home, the yard, and the pet. And you just kind of follow that expected path. And so being an entrepreneur in a country like the Netherlands already makes you stand out. And then that makes that a lonely track. So I love that you brought that up. So let's talk a little bit more about what kind of investment. Now, your masterminds, as a facilitator, you set them up, you vet people, there's a fee that goes with that. If somebody is willing to invest in that, what kind of investment can they expect? And how, maybe instead of naming a number, how does it compare to a business coach? Because working with a business coach,
it's more or less the same. Like the amount is more or less. So my cheapest group is 3,000 for a whole year. That means that I'm not their like solo facilitator. So they have other coaches as well. My most expensive at the moment is 15,000, and I think the Netherlands, that was more or less a bit the maximum in the Netherlands. But that's rising now, like 2025 is also something that I hear here. It's different than the US. Please know that it's different. Yeah. Dutch people don't want to spend money. I'm a sacred money archetype coach. And Dutch people, like the real archetype of Dutch people is saving money as much as possible. That's very Dutch. So money is something that, it's not that I'm careful about it. It's like, it's an investment, but it's doable. And right now I'm building a mastermind system for this 3,000 per year. It's my goal to have as many nice people in the system as my team and I can support. Why? Because of this loneliness. And I encourage them to, to do other trainings or to have other business coaches besides the mastermind, because it's not only having a business coach, it's way more than that. And I think that's one of the biggest things. But masterminds go from, like, my most expensive was 22 for a whole year. That's what I invested. And if you step up the mastermind pyramid, I think it's like 50,000, 100,000
a year. Yeah.
And it's always like, there's always a next level.
Yeah. But here's the thing, right? So if you're watching this and you're like, oh, that's a lot of money, think about go back to school and getting a master's degree, or going to school and getting, just an undergraduate degree, or doing continuing education, getting a certificate at a university. When you leave that, you have the certificates. You don't necessarily have a long-term relationship, especially now that we do a lot of that stuff online, a long-term relationship with the people that were in the class. Plus, nobody's vetted your class. You don't know who's in there with you. No. With this mastermind, so you're investing money, you're learning, you're growing, and you have a continuous group. You have a really tight group of people that you can share stuff with. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah.
How about safety? You talked about safety and being nice, but how about safety and secrets? You're putting together a bunch of entrepreneurs. Do you have people sign a contract that they can't take the information they hear outside? Like, I'm sure somebody watching, listening is curious about that because, what if you had a great business idea and your mastermind friend starts that business?
Yeah. I've had that once, happening. I have that once. So yeah, I have my legal documents and people agree to that. Okay. Then again, it's not said that they are like, there's no punishment. But if you, otherwise you should get a lawyer, etc. But it's very important to talk about that as well. Like, if so, I have existing groups. If someone new joins the group, it's always something that I discuss with the old group. So, like, this is a person, this is their business, etc. And I don't have competitive entrepreneurs in the same group. Like, let's say I have 2 Instagram trainers. Let's put like a simple example. They both have an Instagram business. That's not so clever in one group because they maybe would have the same clients or the same programs, etc. That's not very advisable. So it's a bit like the old-fashioned rotary system. There's only one of them, etc. Yeah, but it's important to have your legal documents in place. Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. That's thank you for that. Yeah, I would think that makes sense, even though it helps to be in the same industry. Sometimes, like my masterminds, most of us were in the same industry, but again, that was self-directed and we had a lot of the same issues. But if you want to grow, instead of working on just like what you're doing, but you want to really grow your business and scale it in a different way, then it makes more sense to be in a mastermind with people that are either in different industries or a different skill set, right? Have different area of expertise.
Yeah, they have different offers because I do have people in my masterminds that they serve like the exact same client, the exact same type of client. They start to work together now. So one is like an expert in graphics, and one is an expert in text, etc. And they are now talking about, okay, how can we build a product or an offer that we can offer to our clients and do it together? And they introduce each other in their clients in their circle. And that's like a plus for me. I love that. That's the win-win-win I want.
Yeah. So that actually leads me to the last big question that I have for you is, what are some of the transformations that you have seen happen? Because this is what people want, right? They are going to invest, $10,000, $15,000 in a mastermind. They're going to invest time, 12 months of their time. They're going to invest time to come to the mastermind, but also get to know their peers, work on their business. What are some of the transformations you've seen? If you want to use examples or just different things. I can see you're so excited about this question. Let's do it.
This is the most important thing because I coach people on an identity level. And if I say that, it's like a bit of a boring sentence, like identity level. The biggest transformation is a shift in identity. And if I give words to it, they go from this struggling self-employed entrepreneur, it's either money or time that they struggle with something. They go to an entrepreneur, and we call this the CEO mindset, with the mindset of someone who is building a business. And shifting on an identity level, and that's what I'm teaching. So I'm part a teacher as well, but shifting on an identity level is letting them do something that they've never done before. So, for example, simple example, you cannot be an author if you haven't published a book. So if you want to be an author, that's an identity thing, you have to write a book and you have to publish a book. After you've published the book, you are always an author. And that's the same with being like a 6-figure earner or a 7-figure earner. Once you have accomplished 6 figures, you are an entrepreneur who can make 6 figures. You are that on an identity level. So your basis or your fundament of normality, let's put it that way, will shift from, I had 40,000 per year and now I have 120,000 per year and I had it a few years. Oh yeah, I am a different person. I am a different entrepreneur. And these identity shifts, like I see them every day. Like I don't know how many minutes I still have, but simple examples, like I have someone in my group right now. She came in as quite a shy person. She used to do social media, like everything. She specializes in Instagram, and she's in her second year. A lot of people stay 2 or 3 years in the group, but she's now the chef. Is that the word? Chef, like the boss. So we are doing a summit.
Yeah.
We are doing a summit. So it's not that I organize a summit. We as a team do that, and she is in charge of delegating, giving people tasks, and she has grown in confidence so much that the entrepreneurs around her, like where she lives, local entrepreneurs, but also her family, they just tell her, yeah, you have changed. There is something about you. And I mean, you can see it in the Instagram post, for example, but you can see it in the way she behaves, she talks. She is the boss at that moment.
That's awesome. I love that example. So this is what any change you make, like say you go on a diet, right? The experts say the first 2 weeks you might notice it. After 4 weeks, the people around you, your immediate family might notice, and it takes the public to maybe notice for 2 months. So if people are telling her she's now changed, that whole identity has shifted. I love that you use that as an example. And gaining confidence. So I'm hearing you say, new identity, but gaining confidence, knowing that you can do it, having a group of supporters behind you makes you, and accountability partners makes you be able to do a lot of things that you might have hesitated about before, because there's that fallback, there's that support, there are these people that encourage you.
They get appreciation for what they do. Like, yeah, you did a good job. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
It was a great masterclass, or it was really valuable, because you know that as well. As women tend to say, well, it was nothing. It was easy for me. It's like, it was not my best day. And so we degrade ourselves. We make ourselves small. Yeah. But in the mastermind, there's no room for that, because you just get like, they just grab you like, no, this is good. This was excellent. You helped me. Get that in your brain, like get that in your system. Write it down. Yeah.
That's awesome. If you have one piece of advice for somebody who's on the cusp of joining a mastermind, who might be, I need a business coach, I need a mastermind, what would put somebody go to the other side, to the mastermind side? What is something you can say to them?
Yeah. So first, I think a few criteria. Your knowledge has to be up to date. So if you lack some skills, if you don't know how to write an email or whatever, if you don't know what a funnel is, please invest in skills first. You need like skill set.
Okay.
If you have clients, that's important. You need to have clients, and you have repetitive clients. Is that the word? Like clients come back to you again and again.
Yeah.
That's a sign for me that you are an expert.
Okay.
And so if you have clients, your systems are in place, you have the right skill set, like things are working, you are absolutely ready for an upscale, for scaling up your business, or to hire someone in your team or whatever. And then I think a mastermind is more suitable than a business coach with like a fixed program.
All right. That makes a lot of sense. So if you're lacking a certain skill, or if you are just wanted to get that one-off project done, say you want to write a book, you hire a book coach, right?
You hire a book coach. Exactly.
Right. That makes sense. You don't go to a mastermind for that. But when you have all your systems in place, I love that you said that you have your systems in place, you have the expertise, you have clients on retainer, maybe they come back every month, you work with them, you get new clients, you are ready to scale. Maybe you're ready to hire people. Maybe you're ready to grow as a speaker, or, build out a branch of your business. You're ready for a mastermind. I absolutely love that.
First mastermind, because I mean, there are levels in masterminds. If you have your first six figure a year, you're ready for the mastermind for your first 6-figure month. And then there's like 7-figure masterminds and 8-figure masterminds.
Oh my goodness. That's crazy. All right.
Yeah.
So Jeanet, how do people connect with you? I know that we just chatted before. You have Dutch-speaking clients, but you have something to offer English-speaking people. And your profile on LinkedIn, you said you have a
so I
dual
have an
profile.
English. My profile in LinkedIn is English. Sometimes I have a few English-speaking VIP clients, so they cannot join the mastermind because they don't speak Dutch. But sometimes I have a few VIP clients. And I have the Sacred Money Archetype assessment on my website. So if they want to know more about their money archetype and their the way they handle money, that's something they can get for free.
Perfect. I'll make sure to link in that underneath this live and also in the show notes if you're listening to this. Jeanet, thank you so much for being here. I loved the conversation about masterminds. If you have never thought about joining a mastermind, maybe you were thinking about a business coach, now you know what you need. If you are ready to scale your business and if you have your systems in place and you have clients, masterminds might be great for you. And I can attest they work and they are wonderful. So Jeanet, I really, really had so much fun talking to you. I'll be back next week with another episode of Strategy Talks. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for having me. Bye-bye.